Hi there. Guess who? Nick Dutch back on the camera again one more time for another delightful tarot show. Hello everybody. As I know, I've been doing this once a week now, which is obviously absolutely brilliant for you guys, so you know that I'm trying my hardest to try and get this show out all the time. I really did struggle to get this show done. This time I had a lot of things going on. I've got to think about my revenue and all the rest of that. But I thought, just this week I'll make sure I will definitely get the show out again. So here we go. For those of you who haven't already guessed, on this particular YouTube channel I do tarot readings. Now what you personally can do, if you want to request a reading, send me a private message on this YouTube channel, Nick Dutch Tarot, all one word, all lowercase, and I'll be happy to add you to the rota. Sending me a private message through, add you to the rota so I can go through them all in sequence just by going through the mails one at a time. Now what I don't do is to print off a list of all the various readings and select which one to go through. Whilst I'm shooting the video, I go back to the computer, I check what's on the screen for the next message that's coming through, and I then answer that reading. This is completely unscripted, completely unprepared. I admit I do some editing, but apart from that, there is no further preparation. I just get straight on and basically do the work. Just very, very quickly to remind you, if you want to have a reading done, not only has it got to be in private message, not the comment section, and not in the form of a video response, but it's also got to have a question. Now some people just send me a message through saying, please could I have a reading? And it stops right there. Now with some people I do a general reading, but I try my hardest not to do that on this particular channel, because essentially we don't have that kind of like a direct over the telephone or direct over internet chat or any other service like kuma.co.uk. I'm on that one as well as Psychic Consult TV on Sky channel 885. I appear there once in a while. So essentially, my information is out there. I'm someone who is usually available most of the time on one of these many services. If you just search around, search the internet, will usually be available, unless of course I'm shopping or sleeping or eating or feeding next door's cat or something like that, you know what I mean? So either way, I'm sure you can find a way of getting in touch. Now the first reading of today is by someone whose YouTube channel name is Siccola, I think it is. Okay, this is an individual who is deaf and is looking to try and build a relationship with someone who they're compatible with and also understands American Sign Language. So as is traditional, I've been shuffling very thoroughly, doing my traditional tarot reader shuffle. And for those of you who don't know the way you do it, okay, so you cut the cards, turn them around, and then shuffle them together, and do that a few times, and that increases the randomness, and it also means that some are upright and some are reversed, thereby increasing the number of potential semantic messages which could possibly come through within a reading itself. So what I'll do for you, as this is a question of whether and when someone's going to come through, is I'll do a chronological spread. We'll see basically what's coming through for you. Okay, focusing on this particular year. Alright, now I'm going to very quickly show you the cards because I think it's a very important and positive message. We have a row, literally a row of incredibly positive signs for you there, okay? Starting with, first and foremost, the Sun card. The Sun card is important because it speaks about connectivity, it speaks about unity, it speaks about being together, and it can speak about happiness and joy. Following that, we've got a Cup card. Now, Cup signs are often associated with love anyway. This is the Nine of Cups. Okay, it's reversed. So essentially with this individual, when they come along, mid-term future, maybe 4 to 6 months at the outside, the energy there is definitely talking about a sense of there being some difficulties, but there's also a sense of there being some forms of connectivity. Further on from there, things righting themselves, literally righting themselves, because next Cup signs are upright. And for that to happen, we got a change of message as far as basically what's going to come through for you, and essentially the character and the nature of the individual getting on better with you with the passage of time. So it is a question of growth and development. Even further forward from there, I mean, you've got a seriously lucky reading today. We've got the Moon card. Now that, combined with all the rest of the signs, it is not talking about delusionment. It's not talking about illusion, because it takes its meaning sometimes from all the rest of the signs which are there. It's more talking about loving energy. So in this particular case, it's amplifying what we've already had, and it's starting to bring you to a point of thinking like, something great is happening here. There is something of a romantic nature which is occurring here. Now this individual is also someone you can care for and you can nurture, because we've got nurturing signs coming through within the Empress card itself. Very strong feminine colours, very strong nurturing message there. And of course hard work being done to make sure you can keep the relationship going. So as far as, is someone going to come along into your life who can actually do what is required in terms of building the right quality of bond with you and has that compatibility? Yes. Is it going to be this year? I believe so. I feel so. I feel it in my bones, so to speak. So there's a feeling that this is the right time, this is the right character, this is good on so many different levels. I mean, absolutely fantastic for you today. So look forward to it. Now obviously you've got some special needs which you need to look after. You need to make sure that they're tolerant and they're accepting of that and all the rest of that. So do what you can. You're on the internet now, use the internet to the best of your ability, and essentially the right quality of connection is going to come through for you, I'm sure. 0709 Magic is inquiring about Rafa, which is an individual which you just come across over the internet. And wants to make sure everything's going to go okay. Well, obviously it's great that you're contacting me and you want to have a reading, because when something new happens, it's always good to get another perspective, another point of view, which is basically all I can really and properly offer you anyway, okay? The rest of it has got to be just up to you, not up to me. Obviously bear in mind what the reading says, but obviously think for yourself, and about what your needs are and what your requirements are. And as you go through the communication online with this individual, think carefully about, are they actually reflecting properly? Are they communicating enough? Are they communicating in the right way? Are they exhibiting the right variety of values? Because values and politics and theology and spirituality, behavior, personality, all these things are more important than just the emotion of love. Alright, the emotion of love binds you together, but unless you've got some kind of convergence or opportunities to try and create convergence based upon what you've got there, then essentially it could actually not work out right. You've also got to think about travel, you've got to think about distance, and that can be an issue. It's always a good idea to try and build a relationship on your own doorstep rather than someone on the other side of the planet. And that's one of the reasons why the internet has some problems, because you can start developing connections with people all over the place, and that can that can be a bit difficult if you want a stable long-term relationship. But either way, I've shuffled very thoroughly. Okay, I'll just cut once more, and we'll see basically what the reading says today about yourself and Rafa. Okay. Now we've done a chronological spread. This one's your standard 8-card relationship reading, looking at the energies between the two of you and so on and so forth. You know the score, you've watched enough of my shows, you know the way that I tend to do things. Okay, one for the forces between the two of you. Potential for cooperation, you're still very different, so do you have that convergence yet? No, but you can build upon it. There are some feelings there already, that's a good sign. Okay, right, what else have we got? On your side of the reading, a desire to make sure everything's going to be okay, a slight touch of caution there, but also a slight sense of extra wisdom, and a desire to use the passive voice when communicating, which can be good, but once in a while you'll still need to put your foot down. I mean, that's essentially what the Hierophant is talking about. It is an authoritarian character, but it's authority with a passive tone of voice, and one of the reasons why it's often shown actually doing, the proper sign of benediction, because he's providing a variety of blessing of sorts to people. But we've also got the Hanged Man card. Now, the Hanged Man is a peculiar character, because in some respects it talks about treachery. Now, why would we have signs of treachery on your side of things? Is this a fear? Is this a concern that you've got, that this individual could actually be negative, could do the next wrong thing and not the next right thing? Well, it's good to be cautious. It's good to be prudent. Alright? And I think that's what that's trying to explain and express. Maybe it's something like, subconsciously you've got inside you. Will it work out? Will it not work out? I don't know. Okay? You've still got to measure it. You're the one who's there. Okay? If you're doing a scientific experiment, you have all the measuring apparatus in place. And right now, you are there. You are the one who is doing the measuring of Rafa's behavior and Rafa's communication, so bear that in mind. Be cautious, but obviously don't allow that cautious aspect of your character to completely possess everything that's going on inside your mind. Right, now on Rafa's side of the reading itself, potentially a very good moral character, that's looking okay. Few signs of strife and struggle. Something might get in the way to stop the connection from working out right. He seems to be a reasonably moral individual. It does look like he's got a desire for communication. He's looking for something which is of a better quality than I think he's had before in terms of communications and connections. So he's obviously learned from like the rougher aspects of life, so to speak. He's there. He's got the knowledge. He's got the wisdom, and he's actually starting to feel happier and feel stronger. Okay, progression, short-term, mid-term, long-term, future. Short-term difficulties. Some of these are on your side of things, I feel. Some of these are the internal fear and anxiety associated with building this relationship. And something else on his side of things which may be getting in the way. I can't guarantee it's going to be perfect, but there's a strong sense of desire there. That sense of maybe things could actually start happening. So you've got a wide variety of conflict of tensions which is going on at the moment. Communication working out slightly better, so essentially if you can persist, there's the potential for things to work out nicely, and with a sense of this being a good quality new beginning. But it's a slowly developing relationship. Don't suddenly jump to the point of thinking like, right, we're there. You're not there yet, you've got a fair way to go, so play it cool, take it easy, work on building things. Okay, during this short-term future period, try and work at dealing with the various issues as they arise. But essentially you've got something there, you've got some potential there. Remember, the art card of the Major Arcana was defining that sense of a blending of the energies of the various differences that you've got to try and create something which could be a lot better. It's a message of alchemy, of transformation from something which is based on not working out according to plan into something which could be better. Okay, September Witch is on some variety of path. It could be a path of all different types of things for all different types of reasons. And the question is, will September Witch be successful within this path? Now, obviously, I'm not going to go into any detail as to what it is. You've been quite cagey about that. But on the other hand, let's just have a quick look and see whether we've got signs relating to success, achievement, progress, and all the rest of that kind of jazz. Shuffle very thoroughly as per usual. Obviously, I don't have a second camera on my hands whilst I'm doing it. Maybe one of these days, if things work out well and I carry on getting plenty of ad revenue, that I'll be able to afford a second camera and do much more in the way of editing and the rest of it. But until that time comes, we just have to make do with the one. I know I've occasionally done some cutaway shots before, and that sometimes helped. But on the other hand, that adds even more time to the preparation of the show. So I can't always do that. Now, in this particular case, I think I'm going to give you a bit of an affirmative. I mean, the short-term future, the Eight of Swords I never regard as being the most positive thing in the whole wide world, depending upon the context. You're talking about moving in a certain direction, in a certain path. It looks like you've got a bit of extra work to do during your short term, a bit of extra information to gain. Part of you thinks you've already got there. I think you've got to do a bit more brushing up and a bit more extra hard work during the short term future. Take it easy, don't stress yourself out, but make sure that you do get the progression that you're after. And then, here we go, comes the best signs. Okay, Two of Coins, analogous to the Death card at times, which deals with transformation, but it's a different type of transformation because every single one of the tarot cards has a very slightly different semantic message associated with it. This is continuing with what you've been doing it in a better way, opening up into a new era of the same sort of thing in this particular case, in this particular juncture. So that's where the message of potential success is coming through, when there's a change of mind or a change of attitude to what you're doing as a result of going through the process of extra effort, extra hard work, research, seeing things from different points of view, trying to work out what you really think about the subject in order to make sure you get to where you want to go. Okay, so that's essentially the kind of progress that we're seeing here through like a massive leap, a massive move in the right direction, which will be happening a few months down the line from now. And from there on, there'll be subsequent little learning periods which you'll be going through to try and get there. Following that, we got some cup signs which I'm interpreting in this particular case as being a feeling of happiness. It does correlate with success. It doesn't seem to be success in terms of being a multi-billionaire and owning half of the United States of America. It does speak about something from the heart. I think that whatever this path is, it's something which is heartfelt. It is something which you've needed or wanted to do, or a path which you've needed to start on in order to think you're like, I'm in the right place, I'm doing the right things for myself and for other people, and therefore it's much more of a spiritual thing, much more of a, up here and in here thing rather than, you know, a necessarily purely a financial thing. That's the way that I'm interpreting it anyway. So it's a question of starting to fulfill what you're dealing with. But also, and this has just come through to me, it hasn't come through in the cards, but it's also a question of understanding what you're letting yourself in for in a much deeper way with the passage of time. Okay? Which is a bit of a different message about the way that the future could possibly be working out for you. You'll be changing your attitude yet again. Okay, 83 Angie. You say that you're in a relationship, you think it's there. Okay, you think the relationship is there, but you're kind of like unsure. Part of you actually doubts the fact that this is a real relationship. Okay, so the various questions you've got to ask yourself prior to anything, prior to me laying out a few cards or anything, is this person communicating with you regularly? Is this relationship being held in place by money? Because if it is being held in place by money, then basically is it really a relationship? You've got to ask yourself whether this individual is reciprocating your affection properly and in a true and clear manner, and whether they're properly participating in your life. If they're not communicating regularly, if they're not communicating properly, if they're not reciprocating your love towards them, it's not a relationship, full stop. If this is an individual who you don't see all that often, it's probably not a good relationship. Alright? So these are things you've got to ask yourself. You've got to make sure that all the right boxes of a genuine relationship are actually being ticked. That's what I'm telling you to think about today and to make sure that you put into action. Because I should not be the one to tell you whether this is a relationship or not. Okay? Alright, but let's have a quick look and we'll see what the reading says. Because my job is just to tell you what the reading say, that's it. Everything else is up to you. It's not up to me. And if my reading is wrong, it's still up to you to do the next right thing, not up to me to tell you what the next right thing is. Okay? All responsibility is on your shoulders, not mine. And that's with every single one of you out there. You've got to remember that. But let's have a quick look and see what the reading says. Okay, forces between the two of you. Emotionally speaking, that's looking okay. But remember, that's emotionally speaking. That's not necessarily in terms of action, speech, determination, dedication, all the rest of that. The important stuff, that could be the emotions now. That could be just from you to him. Alright, so you got to make sure that things are actually working out according to plan. Emotionally speaking, this could be a reading based upon your emotional interpretation of what's happening rather than necessarily what actually is happening and going on there. So you've got to bear this in mind as well, okay? On your side of things, two conflicting emotions, it actually defines, what you're talking about very much. You've got connectedness, an interconnectivity, or a feeling of it. Followed by a feeling of, have you been defeated? Have you been stopped in your tracks, so to speak? Alright, it's complex. It's not a straightforward yes-no type answer, is it? Okay, and that's on your side of the reading. On their side of the reading, lots of planning and preparation, but possibly a little cold and also a sense of isolation. So it's looking 50-50. It's not looking good, it's not looking bad. But there is something in here which you could possibly reflect upon so that you can work out yourself whether you think this is an actual relationship. And also bear in mind what I said before I started laying down the cards, because that's probably even more important than anything that's come out in the reading anyway. Alright? Remember that. Okay, a Sheikah wants to know whether her boyfriend's going to meet her in her own country. Let's just have a quick look and see what the reading says. Bear with me a second, please. Alright, still using standard tarot card spread, 8-card relationship reading. Here we go. It's a bit like standard temperature and pressure, me saying that and sounding more like a natural scientist every day. Well, kind of. Oh, well, obviously not, basically, but I'm a combination between like Mystic Meg and Doctor Who sometimes. What the hell. Anyway, energy and the force between the two of you, hard work being done. This individual is someone who wants to actually put some effort in, but they are definitely restricted. Signs of sadness, signs of sorrow and unhappiness. And also a bit too much to deal with for them at the moment. But as they actually want to put some extra hard work in, 3 of Coins, very powerful signs when it's talking about effort being done to actually bring about some kind of change. The preliminary stage prior to change and work and effort actually happening, the desire for it is very strong. It's not just like an emotional bond kind of thing, and it's, although emotional bonds are important, okay, don't get me wrong there, okay, but it's like, yes, we want to make this work hard, we want to make this work, but if there's a massive geographical difficulty, frustration will really kick in. Progression. Well, let's have a quick look at your side of things first. Obviously, happiness, but awareness of conflict, okay? Very short-term future. Development of greater responsibility, enlightenment, reason coming out in the Lover's card there. The Lover's card doesn't always deal with romantic love, but obviously there is an aspect of that within this reading. Why? Because it's a love reading, okay? But it's also talking about greater level of responsibility. This actually bodes quite well. If you got the Three of Coins and the Force between the two of you, that's talking about wanting, putting in the hard work and actually putting in a bit of effort, okay? Right, there we go. Lover's card, talking about extra responsibility, putting in the work, building a foundation, developing the opportunity to build things up, get some responsibility going within the summer. That would be really rather cool. The Devil card has come out reversed, which is suggesting overcoming obstacles. Maybe that is talking about overcoming the geographical distance you guys have got between each other. Maybe that's part of what's going on there. Followed by signs relating to an almost childlike sense of joy coming out with the Fool card. Well, it's another one of those readings which is talking about things happening, but things not necessarily happening overnight. Alright? And with this strong sort of like, we're going to take this seriously kind of thing going on. But thinking, we're going to take this seriously, but we can't take this seriously because there's problems and distance and all the rest of that jazz going on right now. So, it's frustrating. But there's something... There's something there for you, I feel. I mean, I think that that's actually quite an important message that this particular reading is giving off today, so to speak. Okay, we've got a user whose channel name is just a string of numbers. Okay, and this individual wants to know whether they'll be in a financial position which is strong enough to be able to sort of like move geographically, buy a new house, sort of like settle down and all the rest of that, And if so, where's the money going to come from? Well, I'm not going to tell you where the money's going to come from. Why? Because it's up to you to do the next right thing. And as far as inquiring about lottery winnings, don't. Just don't. And people like me don't read upon speculation, gambling, and that sort of thing, because that is wrong. So essentially you've got to work really, really hard, find the right qualities of property, right qualities of price, try and build up tons of knowledge about how the process of buying and selling properties actually occurs, and of course to try and find yourself a good quality mortgage provider who can actually help out, and also to try and research the market for others in case you wish to switch after 1 or 2 years, hypothetically. Okay, and also what the process of switching mortgages would be for when you get there, because you've got to plan all these things first and foremost prior to even considering the possibility of having yourself them 4 walls that you need to actually live in, and sort yourself out that way. Alright, so it's never going to be clear cut as far as moving, buying a property, moving house, and all the rest of that's concerned. So let's have a quick look for you, and all I'll do is tell you what the reading says. Okay, not much in the way of financial signs, I'll be honest about that. Okay, so essentially it'll be a struggle trying to get it sorted out. So I feel what that's trying to tell me is that it'll be the research and it'll be the using the intellect as far as you can. I mean, we do have 2 air signs coming through here. We still got the 8 of Swords, and as I said before, it doesn't always come out well because it talks about interference, things getting in the way. And the Princess of Swords can talk about defensiveness or fighting to try and get what you want, but it's all a bit difficult at the moment. So it's not really looking out positive in the short-term future. But if it was completely negative, would we have signs relating to a sense of joy, a sense of luxury, some form of happiness, a feeling of happiness actually emerging with relation to something connected to your question at the end of the year? Something is going to happen. But because of the obstacles, I think it would make much more sense if you were to do as much research as you can during this short-term future period, okay? So don't ask about speculation or gambling anymore. That's wrong. Okay, and you'll just have to see how it's going to work out right. Nina 15C wants to change jobs. Let's have a quick look and see what's coming through. Okay, driven by desire. The Lust card often speaks about desire, desiring some form of change, desiring something which is going to be good for you and will give you the happiness that you're after. It's coming through during the short-term future. Now, that doesn't mean to say you're going to get that within the short-term future. You might still have a couple of months to wait before you get the Ace of Cups there. And the Ace of Cups is talking about a position in which you can actually settle into with some long-term stability. When you can actually sort of be a person who is virtuous and do things which are actually right, and you'll be able to give wisdom to other people as to how you did it and how you got yourself out of the hole. But as far as is that going to happen for you, the short answer there would have to be quite a strong affirmative. You also asked us to, that same old question, is it going to happen for you romantically? Well, let's just have a quick look for you and see whether the reading says it's going to happen for you romantically. Fun and recreation associated with someone that you don't actually know. Passion, drive and determination coming through. I get the feeling that the Queen of Wands is trying to teach me, or trying to tell me, that the kind of individual you previously thought was right for you basically wasn't right for you. And you need to think about other levels of compatibility and what it actually means to be a compatible person who's going to be good for you and going to be right for you in the future. So I think maybe a bit of extra contemplation and change of impression is what I want to say about the quality of individual you actually want to have in your life. Okay? But there's some very good moral strong signs associated with next quality of connection. So it is going to happen. It is going to happen, but right now, just focusing on the job change. Okay? Something is going to happen for you which is going to be good. Don't forget that. Okay, now that's all the readings I'm going to do for the moment. Do keep your requests coming in, each and every single one of you, okay? If you got a silly question, a sensible question, okay, just get it through to me. Don't send me pages and pages and pages and pages of inquiry, because I've only got a limited quantity of time to shoot the show, to convert the video file, to edit it. This is a long video file, it takes time to edit, okay? And then finally to render, and then to upload. And I upload to blip.tv and I upload to YouTube. So we are talking about a whole day's worth of work in this for me, okay, which I've got to get done just in order to get this show out for you, so that you, the subscriber base, can really enjoy what's going on, okay? Don't forget, rate, comment, subscribe, but no requests in the comment section. Do leave video responses if you wish, but don't put your requests in a video response format or I'm not going to touch it. Naughty naughty, okay? And make sure you do ask a question. If you would like a general reading, I'm quite happy to help there, but if you can point me towards the area of life that you want me to focus in on, whether it's your romantic life, whether it's your social life, your family life, your friends, your working life, your financial life, what aspect of life it is about, or indeed saying, I'd like to have a general reading, but I also want you to focus in on this question as well, then I'll be quite happy to try and think about that and incorporate that into the whole process, so that, what you get is actually a really rather good show, because obviously this is going out to people who are interested, people who are not interested, people who are curious, want to see other people's lives, other people's problems, and as such, it's quite a big thing now. Okay, getting quite a few views for a channel with a small subscriber base, but it's growing in popularity. So by all means, carry on participating. I will allow you, of course, to submit a second request or a third request, but I can't guarantee I'm going to answer them when you want. Don't forget, I'm available on keen.com, I'm available on Liveperson, British hours, so for you people in the United States of America, okay, that'll be early mornings for you. Usually it'll be early mornings, so I'm available on Keen and Liveperson for those in the United States of America type time zones. But I'm also available for email readings via Keen. You can catch me on nickdutch.co.uk, and you can buy yourself an email reading from there if you wish. And I'd be happy to try and incorporate you and incorporate that into the whole thing. If you're in the UK, once in a while I pop on Kooma, KOOMA.co.uk. My PIN number is 2483. Okay. and I'm available on a few other services, including Psychic and Soul.tv, which is on Sky Channel 885, if that's what you're interested in. I'm going to spend a bit more time shortly getting out into the community. I'm planning on getting myself both a busker's license and a peddler's license from the local town hall, so I can actually start doing some of my promotions out there in the street for a wide variety of people when the spring and the summer comes. So that's going to be pretty cool. Hope to catch some YouTube footage from that as well, if everything goes according to plan. Might just be low resolution, even lower than this stuff right now, but I'm still thinking of doing it, so you can get a feeling for, you know, Nick Dutch out there on the road. And you know, that's basically what I'm planning on doing at the moment. You know, tarot is something that I can get really excited about. I love the work that I do. I love being able to help people, and just being there for people can actually be the greatest help that a reader like me can sometimes do. It's all about love. It's all about, you know, being one with society and one with the universe, taking some time out of my day just so that I can do something for you, be there for you, so that you've got someone you can bounce a few ideas off through one method or another, okay? So, there we go. Keep your requests coming in, and I am probably going to speak to you again, if not next week, then the week after. You know, there'll be more shows coming through. For those of you who are more occult interested, go to my other YouTube channel, Nick Dutch Videos, where I'm going to, you know, go through the process of explaining like the more in-depth occult stuff very, very soon. It's going to be like a course in its own right and free of charge, because it's just out there on YouTube. And I will speak to you again very soon. Good fortune, God bless, see you in a while.